Hey, everybody. I know it's late on this Wednesday evening, January 6th, but it's been a big couple of days. And I wanted to come on here and just talk with you for a little bit, if we could. We've all had a big couple of days. We at Stand Up Michigan have had several here too, and a lot going on and a lot to sift through. So wanted to give just a few seconds for people to come on. I've been monitoring some of the comments here. I kind of mentioned I'd be on a few minutes early so I could see what people were thinking. And, one of the things that was happening today, I want to let you know a little bit of with Stand Up Michigan is we had Sheriff David Clark in town here today and tomorrow in Newaygo. And I think some of you may have seen at the end of December, there was an announcement made on a major radio station out of Milwaukee that Sheriff David Clark is going to be the co-founder of a Stand Up Wisconsin, which is going to be developed in the near future, which means we're going to have the upper Midwest pretty well covered with an awful lot of great patriotic people. And he is a genuine, incredible patriot of a man who served his country and his state extremely well, has toured this country and spoken at more grassroots efforts and events and helped again, and continues to help at so many areas. And every time we're together, we tend to share stories and talk about things. And I tend to write some things down of what he says or how he uses things. And I wanted to give you some reference because as we were talking about things today and dealing with one of the other individuals who's going to be helping start this, we were kind of going off a lot of what Stand Up Michigan is all about. And the reason I think it's relevant for all of you is when we first met about 9 months ago, it was out of some of the same anger, frustration, desperation. Maybe it's multiplied, maybe it's not, depending on the person, of where we are today versus where we were in March and April during the shutdowns, lockdowns, and so on. And when we were formed, we had a couple of choices, and one of those was, were we going to become a group that was going to be kind of activist oriented, meaning were we going to just march on the Capitol? Those are important things to do. Are we going to wave flags and show up for events when we're angry about things and just make phone calls or send emails to legislators because we're upset with decisions they make? Or do we have an opportunity to do something that is much, much bigger than that? We chose the latter, as you probably know, when you were part of the Unlock Michigan campaign or the freedom festivals that we had throughout the summer, that we're a different group, a different kind of organization. And some of the things we talked about today came alive tonight, and I want to share those with you to show you the similarities of both what we heard from people back in March and April and May, and what is happening today. We decided as we became an organization that we were going to create some pillars. That was to care for people where they were, with how they were feeling, what they were dealing with, and obviously it was a broad spectrum and range of how we helped each other. Create common feeling, common goals, a common place for us to share information and not feel like we're alone with those that are from an opposite end of the spectrum and don't have the same values, don't necessarily have the same goals. And I know a lot of us felt like that back in the summer. So one of the things we had decided as an organization, I just want to read through a few of these for you, is we wanted to be very relational. And I know that for all of you, I just had a text just a while ago. I don't know if she's going to be on here. I think she will be. And said, we just need a few words tonight because we don't know where to turn. We want to turn the TV off. We don't want to listen to that anymore. I think a lot of you have already been there. But this is trusted. This is a trusted source and place. And social media has done everything it can to eliminate our ability to communicate with you. And we are fighting at every turn to create avenues so that cannot stifle us as we grow this next time. We're organizational. It means we actually have a plan. We have an organization with a set mission. We have structure. We are strategic. When I say strategic, the meaning behind that is we are working and will be working with you on a way forward and have been. The foundation has been set for us to move forward together. We're going to have barriers. We're going to have these lockdowns. We're going to have these issues that have happened in the last couple of days, which I'll get into in a minute. But we have to have a plan to move forward. Complaining only, despair only, isn't going to get us to where we need to be. It's where our enemy wants us. Fighting with each other, blaming each other, blaming people closer to us rather than the culprits who have caused the problems. And it's been out there, people. We have been warning about this all along, and I know there were thousands of people out there. I don't know how many of you joining, but those that might watch later, who believed that a lot of what we talked about when our group was taken down, when our page was taken down, when we lost 400,000 connections to 400,000 of you, and then 100,000 of you, and then 80,000 with the group for Unlock. We told you that the censorship not only was real, but that there was a strategic plan to keep you in the dark, to keep you alone and isolated, to have you conform to whatever it is they told you to conform to. I also talked to you over the last, 30 to 45 days about the awakening that has happened. It showed up on election day, and it showed up in a very, very big way. These are not Republicans and Democrats who voted just for a man. These were patriotic Americans showing up to vote for ideals, beliefs, to defend the rights and liberties that they believe and know were bestowed upon them, yes, in the Constitution, but by and through our Creator. None of that has changed, and it will only be allowed to change permanently if we accept that. We're not going to accept that. It's not happening, but we have to come together with a plan. And so when we talk about organizational and structural and strategic, it leads me to measurable short-term and long-term goals, and goals have to be achievable. We've been mentioning to you, and we're meeting on it. We have a big advisory board meeting here tomorrow. This is going to be a large number of people from around the state, multiple organizations, including organizations from outside Michigan. Yes, Sheriff Clark is there, but we have people from other national organizations that are joining us, for us to share with them what our strategic plan is and to get some information to help lead you in your own local community. So I want to identify with you a few of the feelings. We asked you during the time of the stories back in May, how are you feeling? When you found us, what was the reason? What does Stand Up Michigan do for you? What does the movement overall? Forget about the brand and the name or the leaders. It's irrelevant. It is us joining together as a group of people. I'm just happen to be the one sitting here that talks to you. But I'm not effective unless you do the work, honestly. So we talked about identifying the feelings. Here's your positive ones. Patriotic. You're passionate. You're motivated. You're convicted. You're fearless. You're ready to take action. You're God-fearing. And you're protective of the rights and liberties, not just for you, but for your children and your grandchildren. How are you feeling? Angry, frustrated, sense of loss. Sound familiar? Hopelessness, defeated, looking for direction, searching for leadership we can trust, searching for truthful information, searching and looking for hope, looking for a message we can believe in and messaging that we can share with others to get them to believe with us. How much of what I just read on both sides of those are not what I'm reading right here tonight? The same positive feeling The anger and the frustration is because you're patriotic, because you believe, because you know in your hearts what happened in the election, because you know in your hearts and minds what the outcome truly was, and yet you know that a lot of this is being taken from you. I understand all of that. But I hope that you knew and saw that this was coming. So much of what happened to our organizations and our ability to communicate with each other was to lead up to us feeling isolated and individualized as we did or didn't go to the polls. And guess what? We did in gigantic numbers, almost never seen before. 11 million more people voted for patriotism and individual liberties and rights than did in 2016. And we're to believe that 4 or 5 million more people voted for against those things. I don't believe those are real people. A lot of those are faceless people that either voted without knowing who or what they were voted for. We kind of used some terms as we were discussing this tonight, but we'll just call them misinformed, uninformed people. Not all of them. Some of them know exactly what they're doing, but there's a large number that don't realize what the costs are to some of their actions or some of their votes or their inactivity. But that can also be said of us, can it? So we move to the activation part. That's a third part. We talk about providing solutions, actual solutions that we can work towards. So we are, and I have strolling here at the bottom that obviously we're just getting started. One thing I want to talk to you about before we get too far into things is I want to make sure that you understand a little more about this censorship that we've discussed and talked about. I know it's late, so a lot of you are going to watch this tonight, but many more will see it tomorrow. If you go to standupmichigan.com, right on that homepage now, you can join our email list, and it is vital that if you are not on it, that you join it tonight. Do it right now if you have another device. Click on join the email list, put in your information so that we can stay in contact with you, not only with our plans, because a lot of what we are going to have planned as an organization, even calls to action, are not going to happen over areas that we can be stifled or eliminated or certainly suppressed. It's going to be done where you can get that email and you can forward it to 20 friends of yours, and our 70,000 on our email list can reach 700,000 with only 10 friends getting it. That's how we have to communicate moving forward. It is becoming very, very real. I want to give you an example. During our meeting today, we were interrupted literally with an emergency call that one of our team members had to go take because there was a specific and very credible threat and attack on our organization, our website. And guess what? It was linked to 3 locations: Lansing, Michigan, Washington, D.C., and Virginia. Coordinated, major malware situation. I'm not going into the other details, but I want you to be aware that from censorship to listening in to attacking the individuals who are here to help provide this information is in an effort to shut us up, shut us down, or to look for everything we say and be able to try and turn it against us as a group, and certainly us and a group of us as individuals. I share that with you, not out of us being in a sense of fear. We, thank God, have an incredible, committed team who also believe in everything we're doing. But I want you to know that this is not games. Nothing that we're seeing happen today is by accident. And it is vital that we take actual steps. Complaining only, using terms and things or violence and whatever, as we saw some of that, is not ultimately going to get us where we need to be. I'm not saying that we're not going to, and we did today. By the way, hundreds of Stand Up Michigan people and hundreds of Michigan people from other conservative organizations and God-loving people went to Washington, D.C. today. A lot of them left and went Monday, Tuesday, and were there today. 99.9% of the people there were there to demonstrate and show that they know what happened. We are not sitting down for this anymore. We're going to show up to defend, again, not just an individual man, but for the individual rights and freedoms that he represents. And like the comments were said, it is about our country. It's not about the man. It's the same thing here. It is about what we mentioned in our first thing, our mission. Equip and empower we the people to stand up for our sacred values, our citizen rights, and our constitutional freedoms. All three of those are under attack. What you saw happen on November 3rd, what you see is happening on January 6th, what you see happened with the elections that happened in Georgia yesterday. It is very difficult to be able to separate truth from fiction and stories that are real or unreal. We all read them. And if you're on social media, it's just craziness all the way around. We do not share a lot of that on our platforms because we truly want to have multiple, 2, sometimes 3, depending on the sources, before we share that information. So when you don't get the jump out of because we just read this or sharing this article, it's because if we did that, we would lose credibility because 8 out of 10 of them from whatever side they are not actual information. What is real today was shown, and that is that there were not tens, not thousands or tens of thousands, not even, I don't think, hundreds of thousands. I think there were closer to 1 million people in and around DC. And if you add in those that were at state capitals, we know that what that number looked like. We are awake. We are not going back into slumber. But we also can't just act out. We have to begin to create and work on a plan. So let's talk a little bit. True change, we believe. So we got the standupmichigan.com. You're going to sign up for the email list. I want to put up here again, just for those of you that are willing, I want you to have it there. My email, ron@standupmichigan.com. If you want to be involved at the county level, it is where we're moving this month. We'll be talking from here, but we're going to also be reporting what we get from the ground. Grassroots, ground-to-ground movement is where and how not only Stand Up Michigan, but the patriotic movement that is coming and is here is going to grow this way. Not from here and not on television, not on a national broadcast, though we're going to have a platform where that can grow. However, what we believe is grassroots and the effectiveness of grassroots has to start one household, one neighborhood, one community, one city or township, one county at a time. It means that we need you to get off of your couch, out from behind your computer, and we need you to be willing to host 3 or 4 people in your house that don't know about us. 10 people that you know from coworkers, family, and friends that can get together and can have meetings with information we'll be providing that can be then shared with 10 other friends in your community. We're going to be encouraging those that have access to buildings, businesses that can have meetings, churches specifically where they can literally pray for us and have us be able to meet, to where we can talk about the challenges that face us in our own community, the challenges that face us due to the lockdowns, Let's not forget about our governor and our attorney general and our secretary of state. They are absolutely beyond their authority. All of these lockdowns are as illegal as they were with the emergency orders or executive orders that were given before. The courts will prove that to be true also, and it is time for us to unmask and stand up. It's time for us to get rid of this craziness and the control that we've allowed to have taken over ourselves. But there is strength in numbers. And what we've heard from so many of you is, I want to meet with other like-minded people. I want to go shopping without masks as a group of people. I want to be able to feel normal and be normal again and know that there are a lot of people like me. And believe it or not, and I know you do believe it, but there are literally hundreds in every community that believe in what we're doing, but they feel the same way you do. So we want to begin to connect people at those levels, and then we're going to begin to spread the word. The third thing that you have on there is locals. When you go to the website, you'll see locals.com. It has a free 12 months. If you haven't joined, over 7,000 of you have joined there. We need that number to double and triple. We believe we're going to be able to do live broadcasts off of there very soon. It allows you to post what you want, within limits, obviously, but you could post and comment with what you want there. We can post freely, put videos up there, links to videos that are not able to be shared through regular social media, and a lot of people have appreciated it. We usually put up several things a day. We have a list of all the restaurants that are open. Other things that we don't post on these public figure because we don't want them attacked either in bad results and reviews and whatever. We put it there where people that want to go support local communities and local businesses who have chosen to stand up, and they can do that there. We had dinner tonight at Jimmy's Roadhouse. Sharing that on here because the place was utterly packed on a Wednesday night to the point that he has to shut the doors at 7 o'clock because his kitchen staff is so exhausted because they were packed from lunch through dinner. And people from all over West Michigan, Grand Rapids, traveling 2 and 3 hours to come and just enjoy a normal family meal. It's an incredible feeling, honestly. And there are thousands of us who feel the same way. I know that we've talked about all of these things before, but I want you to understand how critical it is that you take these steps now. And the fourth blue button you'll see on there is a link to a print off that gives something you can cut out. It's 8 larger than business card pieces of paper. You print them off and hand them out that give the same 4 descriptions and things to, again, friends, family, coworkers, anybody you know that is a conservative, loving, Trump voting, independent-minded person. We are not after Republicans or Democrats. Understand there are problems all the way around there. We're looking for individuals who know that something isn't right, that our country is changing, that our liberties and freedoms are being taken away, and we're literally sitting on the sidelines in a lot of ways, and for a lot of us, watching it happen. So we need to join together. This is a way for us to be together. But the real way for us to grow is going to be through these counties. And for you to join, and again, the 3 choices you have when you email me, you can let me know. Are you interested in attending an event in your county? Are you willing to host an event in your county where you'll do your own inviting and whatever? Or are you willing to help organize in your county? Basically getting a hold of, again, faith-based leaders and people, community organization people within your county, people that are like-minded throughout there so that we can, again, grow this exponentially in the month of January. And it's going to be done home to home, face to face, feeling normal, a cup of coffee, get takeout from a local restaurant, support them while you're also meeting to talk about freedom. We're going to talk a lot more about this with you as we move through after tomorrow and have our other meeting. I wanted you to know that we were involved with people and talking with people in Lansing and in Washington today. We've been on top of an awful lot of this, and we know that what happened at the Capitol today didn't represent us as a group of people. It didn't represent the majority of the people that were there, first of all. And it's being, as we always said, they're going to find anything they can and pin it on there. The same people, though, were arm in arm when we were literally destroying property, burning buildings, car dealerships, attacking individuals. All of that was mostly peaceful protests. Today was just beyond the pale. It's craziness. Don't listen to it. Turn it off. All the mainstream media simply wants you to go home, get over it, consent. It simply isn't going to happen this time. It's not happening. Now we have choices, though. What does that mean it's not happening? It means we're not going home and shutting up and conforming and doing what they tell us. I think we all know that's how you feel. 1 million or so people traveled from all over the country to make that statement to those House members and Senate members, a lot of which have stood up. But for those that have decided that it's time to roll over and apologize for our side and tell them that we just need to get over it, need to wake up. Wake up and understand that if indeed elections don't matter, if indeed the truth doesn't need to be actually revealed or looked at or resolved so that we can move forward, we're simply not moving forward. We're not going to accept it. Not from anyone. More and more of us are going to come together. And believe me, every single representative in this county, representing multiple counties, is going to know exactly where we stand, what is expected of them, representing us who elected them. 72 out of 83 counties voted for freedom, individual rights and liberties, sacred values, citizen rights, constitutional freedoms, and they will defend those items. And every one of those that are elected better be thinking of it with every vote they cast. We have the majority. We need to act like it. What has been done to you as individuals, what has been done to so many of you in your jobs, what has been done to so many of us in our businesses is unforgivable in the name of a craziness of a virus. And we have absolutely had it. But as Tammy Clark has said many times, we have to reach a point where enough of us get to a tipping point, and we're simply not there. Having 500 or 1,000 of us show up at the Capitol steps on a Saturday does not simply change things. It's going to require us joining together in your own district, talking to, guess what, your own school board about masks in your schools and going back to in-person learning. Going back to your city council and your townships and saying to them, do not go along with these. Talking to your local police departments and letting them know, you better defend us. You better defend the laws and the oath of office that you took, and most all of them are. I think what we're going to find is, again, we have millions of us that are going to draw together, and the difference is, think about this. I know all of you have heard the stories. Another rumor is that the Supreme Court didn't want to react because there were going to be riots. The other side were going to create chaos and riots, and we just can't have that in our country. But we don't have to worry about these patriotic, God-fearing, God-loving Americans because they're willing to just go home and get along. I think they're starting to realize that's just not the case. When they finally wake us up, and my question is, what's taking so long? Exactly. I want to ask you, what is it going to take? Because taking a presidency is one thing. Taking the Senate and the senators is another thing. How many other races and cases were tossed because of what we believe happened in the election? Now the question is, what do we do about it? We have watched our own state legislatures not follow the rule of law. We have watched our own judges and courthouses who have literally looked at it and said, ew, oh, yeah, but there's a virus. I mean, I know it's on the books. I know it's a law, but I mean, you guys just got to shut down. We're not going to pay attention to that state constitution during a virus. Put on your mask, shut your business, apply for a grant along with 8,000 other people, and we got enough for 600 of you. Maybe you'll get a lottery and you'll win the lottery and we'll be able to help you out. When will we, on both sides of the aisle, by the way, we're talking to all Americans now, all Michiganders, when are we going to say that the government is never, ever going to provide a solution for us? They're never going to bail us out. They're never going to take care of us. And I'm not saying that's the case forever, but it's the case today. It is time for us to realize that we have to put a lot of new people into offices, and it starts now. But that can't happen from 30,000 feet with us talking to you across the state of Michigan and across the country, because I know a lot of you follow from different parts of the country who are dealing with the same thing. That's why Stand Up Wisconsin's coming, same situation. But we have to realize that it has to start in your own community. But let's talk a little bit about the plan again, because I don't want to keep going for very long. I want to hold this to at least 45 minutes. You got to get to bed. I understand. Got a big day tomorrow for all of us here, and there's another big news day coming. But when we talk about meeting face-to-face and doing things, how do we get people to join us? Yes, we talk to them. There's the angry people, the frustrated, the disheartened, the people who are isolated. I think we can get millions just going after that. I mean, 500,000 signatures wasn't difficult, honestly, was it? We got to get those kind of numbers put together, because then we have real power and control. And when I say power and control, it's defending what we have, but it's being proactive. I don't know about all of you here. I haven't had a chance to read a lot of this, but I got to say, I am tired of being reactive. I am tired of us reacting to the left, reacting to those that already feel like we don't know what's coming and we're just not prepared for it. Were we not prepared for what happened in Southeast Michigan? Could we have not been more prepared as a group of people and as a party to have been able to make sure that that couldn't take place? We're way too trusting. We wait till it happens and then we're going to react. But we have to stop being reactionary. We have to think like the enemy. And as Sheriff David Clark says, the enemy are ants. Ants never stop. There are always more of them. They have a long-term plan. They stay in their lanes. They have specific jobs. Picture it. Find the anthill. Understand that's what they are. And we are the soldiers running around trying to defend what it is we do in a lot of ways, because we're too busy infighting. We're too busy complaining about our own party, our own people, the people that are like us, but you're not enough like me, or you don't stand for the cause as much like I do. We had better get over that, folks, and understand there's been a lot more at stake because we haven't come together. But how do we bring people along? It isn't by complaining and waving the flag only and carrying our guns around only and whatever. That simply isn't going to turn people's hearts and minds. It's going to happen by us relating to everyone in your community. This will be the hardest part. I need you to talk to your neighbor. If they're like-minded, share the information. If they're on the other side, help them shovel their driveway. Give them the ride to work. Fix them a meal if they're isolated and an older person at home. Help support the business that's a business who doesn't believe like you. But when your group of 20 people are meeting and you go do takeout there to support them in your local community, they will look back and say, you know what? I want to support the candidate that they helped put up because they're the people who helped me. They're the people who are there for me. They're the people who listen to me. They're the people I could have real dialogue with. There's a part of us that has to go beyond that, I understand. And in large numbers, we will speak with one very large voice, I promise. But I need us to look beyond this to a plan, or we're simply going to lose more. If we change the hearts and minds of the people around you and around us, one neighborhood, one city, township, and county at a time, and we do it simultaneously, we will have revolutionized and changed this state and set a precedent and an example of how it can happen across the entire nation. Forget about party affiliation. No one wants to be called a Republican necessarily right now, do they? It's something we have to run under, but understand the word Republican or the party only represents the people that represent it. We have put up and allowed people to be put up, voted for, and supported individuals who do not necessarily agree with our philosophy. But we also have a lot of you out there that are going to listen to this in the near future who could also have been serving in various capacities to help instill real change. And you've chosen to let someone else do it. And when they've done it different than you think it should be done, you want to crucify them. Whose fault is it? We all, like it or not, elected Gretchen Whitmer, Jocelyn Benson, Nessel, all of those individuals, Michigan elected, because we sat on the sidelines while the other ants organized and worked and got out the vote with a plan to do exactly what's happened in the last 6 weeks. And what do? We want to immediately attack our own, eat our own, complain about everybody until a day like today. And I understand. But these individuals will come and go. They can come and go next year in your local community. County commissions, city councils, planning commissions, school boards, they have elections every single year, May, June, and November, depending on where those elections happen. We want to raise up large numbers of people in your community, have an impact on your community. Do a cleanup day, do a river cleanup day, support local business, show up in large numbers without masks. All of the things that we should do to identify and go with what we stand for, the care. Inform them of truthful information as best you can, but the best thing we can do is lead by example. We're different. We have a unique opportunity. We need you to join with us, but this isn't to join with us and saying, yep, I'm a member. I love to wear the shirt and the hat. I like to say I'm for so-and-so who's running, and then I want to go about my business and come home and go fishing and hunting, or, and I just don't want to get involved because I hate politics. It isn't about the word politics. Forget that, just like forget about party. It's about serving in your church, in your community. I understand not all of you can because of work and because of things, but you can help identify those in your community. And if we have large numbers to support them, both identifying them, getting them elected, and then supporting them in numbers at their meetings. Nobody shows up at these meetings except complainers, people. It's not like we show up to say, I just want to really appreciate all you city council members. Believe me, I was mayor for 10 years, economic development for 25. These meetings have handfuls of people. 90% of the population is just like, yeah, as long as my taxes don't go up, as long as my water rates stay the same, I don't want to get involved. We have to get involved now. Starting now. But we'll do it together. Not asking you to step out separately or different. We're going to offer ways. We're going to offer training. We're going to offer visualization. We're going to offer mentoring. We're going to offer examples to speak with people who have served in those positions. But we need to begin to change so we don't have to be scared of the word Republican, scared of the term or the office, city council. Oh, they're all politicians. They're not. Tammy's been meeting with some of the freshman House members. We're going to be meeting with as many as we can. We're going to be doing roundtables and bringing their information. We want to take the information from us to them, understand them and where they're coming from. Understand together where we want to go with policy, understand what's coming up, and be able to explain to you why they're voting on certain things. And not piecemealing or picking pieces out of it that we're like, how did we not hear about this? Maybe there's a reason, but they don't have a platform either. All I'm saying to you is that we've got to speak to them ahead of the votes, not after the votes. We can't complain about those that get elected because they don't represent us properly, because we put the wrong person in there, right? Happens all the time. All I'm saying is whenever I look at certain things, I have to look in the mirror too and say, is there something more or different that I could have done? I'm as angry as you are. I know what I want to do right now. And I believe there'll be a time when Lansing needs to see a gigantic showing they've never seen before, because they do not understand. The people that live in that little community down there, for some reason, they get brainwashed into believing that they all need to get along and, oh, great word the other day. Oh, I'm so glad you joined me. They're not for them. They're just till they turn around where they can stick the knife in their back. Literally. I don't mean literally. You know what I'm saying? Literally, they have no intention of working with you. They call you everything that they think you are when your back's turned. Get over that. We have the majorities in the House and the Senate, and it's time for us to act like it, which means we control the power of the purse strings. We need to get on the platform and be able to say, going forward, this is how it's going to be in Michigan. This is where we're starting. You accept these things or you don't get a budget. You accept these things as parameters. No mask mandates, period. No mask, no automatic requirements of vaccinations, period. There are a number of things that need to be dealt with and many more. Get rid of these fines for all these businesses. That needs to be voted on, and it needs to be taken away from all of these people who have tried to do nothing but support their families, their employees, their communities, and they have literally sacrificed to the point of destruction individually and business-wise. Thousands of them are gone forever, and nobody cares on the other side. And a lot of our own people are, I'll just give it 3 weeks. It's only a couple more weeks. It's the holidays. It's too late for a lot of them. And for those that have been fined and whatever, I hope they're not paying a single fine. I hope they're standing up to it. But we've got to have thousands more stand up all at once and say, enough. Enough with the phony masks. Phony masks, I'm saying it. Phony masks. If you have a health issue and you feel more comfortable, totally your decision. Not a single study shows anything positive from that. If I had a buzzer to walk behind all these happy wearers and be able to go, sorry, you just touched your mask. Sorry, you just grabbed that cart, the apple you put back, you touched it, you touched your mask. If I could do that for every time and then say, guess what? If you did everything perfect, you still couldn't stop it if you were in the room with somebody else. It's why California had 20,000 plus cases a day, and they're in complete lockdown. And where is it happening? 73% of the cases are happening in homes, for God's sakes. Why? Because that's what happens with the virus. Now, if they had allowed people to be out in public and outside, they even took away outdoor dining in California, for God's sakes, they wouldn't be in the position they're in. Look at Florida. Don't give me anything else. Just look at Florida. We got other states you can look at too. It simply didn't happen there. Not at all in the same way, shape, or form. I know. I went on a bit of a rant. It's almost 45 minutes after the hour. I just want you to know that we are just getting started. But we have had 400,000 that went to 100,000, along with another 80,000 And now we have trouble finding each other when the time comes. The message I got earlier was, I just need a few words, didn't get the message or the notification, because guess what? They're not going to everybody, even if you sign up. Wonder why. We're going to soon between the email. By the way, we're moving from email server in one way to controlling all of our own emails. We do not, by the way, provide them to anyone else. It will be just to communicate with you and give you positive, truthful information, links to videos, calls to action. Literally a dashboard is going to be available on the website that will show you your county, who you can get in touch with. And what I want to know is how many of you are willing to say today, I want to be involved, I want to attend, I'm willing to host, or I'm willing to help organize. Email me at ron@standupmichigan.com. Tell me what county you're in, a little bit about yourself, how you'd be willing to help, and then we're going to plug the county peoples in together. And we have a lot of them. The faith-based community has to wake up. Tammy started this church tours. She's been to 2 churches around the state so far. She's going to continue with more. And these are incredible churches that are overflowing with people who are praising God and believing that there's a purpose for all of this. I want to end this by going back to the being prayerful. There is someone in control beyond anything we see. He already knows how this story ends, and thank God we know how the ultimate story ends. Nobody said the journey was going to be easy. And in some ways, there are consequences for elections. There are consequences for lack of working, because faith without works is dead. A lot of us believe in God. A lot of us have faith and that things will work out okay. But there are expectations of us in order for those to come to fruition. He requires more people to be gathered, where 2 or more gather, where a group of you assemble. There's a reason for that, whether it's for Stand Up Michigan or a combination of there and a prayer meeting, because it is going to be vital that we are based in a foundation that's immovable. Immovable. It's not about this brand. It's about you and me. It's about representing who we are in patriotic, God-loving Americans who seek to preserve our American way of life. But we also need to share the good news that God is in control. Those of you that are in a bit of despair tonight, don't be. If you're a part of Locals or on my public figure page on Facebook, follow me there. I go live there. You can easily share that on your Facebook with other people to join and grow that number as well. I don't focus there because you never know how long those will last, but it's there now. I posted a video, a music video with Michael W. Smith, and it's the victory song. The enemy has already been defeated. He was defeated on the cross. The reason I say that is this enemy doesn't know what it's facing, because behind us and underneath us is the foundation that is immovable. It gives us the power, because if indeed we give the praise and the thanks where they're deserved, but we do what we're supposed to do, and that is to serve. So if we can channel that frustration and that anger and just try it, there's a lot more joy in love and in sharing and in helping others, even leading them to the hope that Stand Up Michigan provides. Because the hope is not in a political party. It's not in television. It's not on social media. You almost can't find it anywhere. But I can promise you, as we talk in here, relationally, we can find it. It's just there for us to grab. And yes, we can spend a few minutes ranting and raving and complaining about what's being done and what needs to be changed, but then we have to go to work like the ants. If all they did was complain because it's raining or complain about whatever, guess what? They continue to do the work, always. We have to do the work right now. We can make a difference immediately. And we're going to be leading you to where you can find or identify as county leaders. There are going to be meetings we hope are going to be held literally yet in January with thousands of people across the state. And then we're going to have, just like you did in Unlock, we're going to have a potential new place, locals for sure, where you're going to be able to post pictures of your gatherings and your meetings. And we want to see Stand Up Michigan gear, and we want to see you say, we're meeting. We're passing these out. We're getting more people to join us, because that's how you're going to instill change. And that's how we're going to bring more people into the fold and ultimately change elections. Right? So as we leave today, I want to let you know that I'm thankful for all of you. I'm humbled by the calling. I'm humbled by the fact that we're put in a place for a season, for a certain amount in a given period of time, and we don't know what that's for. I thought it was for a month or two for a lockdown. I thought it was for a repeal of 1945, which, by the way, there's soon be some big news coming there soon. Not only are we not done fighting, but we're going to get that law repealed. It needs to be. And by the way, just to let you know, 90% of what were in those executive orders are gone and can't be ever repeated again. The health department things that she's using now are very, very minuscule as far as enforceability versus what happened before. But that law needs to go, and we're going to get it gone, and we're going to be giving you updates on that in the near future. In the meantime, I want you to say a prayer tonight. I want you to hug the person next to you. Tomorrow morning at the coffee shop, wherever you are, I want you to pay it forward to the coffee person behind you. Despite everything that's gone on, if you do something good for somebody else, the littlest things are going to change the world. We're getting there together. The power that is being created by this group is going to revolutionize this state, and I believe this country. But it's only going to happen if we all get busy. It's only going to happen if we do the work, if we sacrifice some time. We're not going to be reactionary only, and most of the time not. We want to be the ones who actually have a plan, work a plan, and actually accomplish our goals together. Anything else here from anybody? I know the rhinos are weak. I know. And believe me, we all know who they are, and there's more and more of them. Some of them feel so good about themselves today. Some of them feel so good about wrapping their arms around the liberals today and saying, you know, oh, I'm so upset with what happened there, and we all need to get over it. And I hope when they come home, they hear from all of you, because they represent us and our vote in your community. And guess what, too? 72 counties. Some districts included all the counties who voted for individual rights and freedoms. They did not vote for those lockdowns. They did not vote for what happened in the election or what happened in Georgia or what's going to potentially happen in our country. They simply didn't vote for that, and these people better wake up tomorrow. But how we're going to affect change is going to be to draw more people in by identifying where they are today, doing something for them to help them see what we really stand for, sharing with them the 3 pillars, talking about how we're going to do this together, and it's not about any political party and never will be. Together, we instill change. I appreciate all of you so much again. I appreciate the time. I would ask you if you would share this. You can share it off my Facebook page. You can share it off the YouTube. Please share this video on your social media so more people get a chance to watch this, because Michiganders need to see there's not only hope. We're beyond hope, honestly. We're already through the steps I talked about. We're in that structural stage. We're in that strategic planning stage. We're in the execution stage, and you're a part of the execution. And in the next week or so, we're going to be calling out to you. So send me the email, join the movement as far as being activated in your own community. We're going to put this out in an email to the 70,000 too and draw them in, but we wanted to have an actual plan put into place before we launch it so that we could have specific points of what we want to accomplish in those first meetings. So have a great evening. I know it's 5 minutes to 11. I hope I didn't keep you up any longer, but I know a lot of you are having trouble probably sleeping tonight anyway with all that's happened. I pray that the Lord give you some rest tonight. Rest in him, because he already knows how the story ends. He will be there and he'll fight the battle for us while you rest. And you'll wake up tomorrow morning with a mission. That mission is to find out somebody, hand those postcards out to somebody else that you can print off our website, and do something nice for somebody tomorrow. Somebody that you don't have any idea whether they agree with you philosophically or not. And I promise you, they'll want to know what it is that's making you so happy, what it is that's making you do something so kind. And I can promise you again, that's how we begin to change our communities. Have a great evening, and we'll get back to you in the next probably 48 hours, because we're going to have a great update after our board meeting tomorrow. Again, we'll talk soon, and we are here to preserve the American way of life.